All right, we'll give everybody a minute or two here. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. And hopefully Chase is still said ready when you are. Okay. And it looks like he's joined, so we'll try to let him in here. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What was that?
What was what?
What's up, Chase?
Oh, hey, what's up? Sorry, I cannot find good lighting to save my life, and I have two little Velociraptor puppies trying to get my attention right now. So,
This is how good we are at this. About as good as the Eagles.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, but to be fair, MetLife turf is the
Don't
absolute worst playing
about
surface.
that.
Oh my word.
So, in case anybody's wondering, the offer on my story is 100% legit. If you're interested in an Eagles hat, Eagles gloves, a Jalen Hurts t-shirt, I have no idea why I would be interested in any of that stuff right now. But if you are, you know where to find me, and you've got 4 hours to get back to me before it goes on eBay. I've got a blanket as well that I'm going to put on in days, but I need to buy another blanket first because it's really cold up here in New England. Today, so I can't put that on eBay just yet, but that's coming as well. Chase, how's it going, man? Good to see you.
I mean, I'm doing great. I watched my Jets finally beat the Patriots after a
Yes.
painstaking freaking 9 years, baby. And they finally won. And the best part is, well, actually, this is kind of bad, but I was supposed to go to the game, but I got
I
snowed in here.
I
And
heard. Yeah, they actually offered me, Ryan and Liam actually offered me your ticket,
I
ironically
know,
enough, but I had some stuff to catch up on today, and I also really wasn't in the mood to go freeze my butt off in 30-degree weather and half a foot of snow to watch the Patriots and Jets just to, sorry, because I know you're a Jets fan, but
nah, I mean, hey, it was a dumpster fire, but Brees Hall is the one saving grace we got.
yeah.
But speaking of dumpster fires, the Eagles defense, what the heck? Dude, 400 yards or 400.
Defense off of that. I don't think it's just the defense anymore. I think it's the offense. I think it's the coaching staff. I think it's everything except the special teams. Special teams don't look too bad, but everything else is just a disaster.
I mean, you
And this,
gave up. Sorry, you're cutting in and out for me, but I'll try to find a different portion of Wi-Fi in my house. Gotta love my internet. But
could be my internet as well, to be fair.
but you you just gave Tyrod Taylor and Saquon Barkley that offense a 400-yard game of total offense. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head because I only saw the fantasy football stats because everyone's like, oh yeah, Again, I also want to preface this. I am so sorry for AJ Brown with his knee. MetLife turf needs to go. I will.
Yeah, no debate there.
Go back to grass. I'm sorry. Like, you go back to grass, immediately New York becomes a football town again. People will actually want to go there and play. But they're never going to do that because MetLife is a concert venue now. It's not a football venue. But that's a whole. I definitely didn't write a paper on that either for my master's degree.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's it's 2024. I mean,
Yeah.
if Aaron Rodgers is going down at the start of this year, if that was enough of a reason, then I mean, it's all turf stadium.
Right.
I mean, MetLife
Yeah.
first, but they're all of them.
Oh yeah. I mean, and you just look at it this way. You are losing out on major money because you're telling me that if Aaron Rodgers played, the Jets wouldn't have made more money. You're telling me that if, the Giants didn't lose Daniel Jones, they wouldn't have made more money. Because it's not like morality out of this. Business alone, it is a bad thing for the Eagles. Or it's a bad thing for MetLife. Sorry, somebody just popped in. I knew they're an Eagles fan and triggered something to my brain. But it's like, now the Eagles are going to suffer for it. Because if they don't have A.J. Brown, they're screwed. I'm sorry. Like, you could bash the Eagles all you want because I know you're probably one of the most realistic sports fans out there. Without A.J. Brown, they go from an elite team immediately down to a mid-tier offense because they kind of had it like the 49ers where it was like, okay, well, this person could go off, or this person could go off, or this person could go off. That's one less weapon in the arsenal. Now it's like, okay, you got to worry about DeAndre Swift and, maybe, Devonta Smith. But even then, I still think he's hurt. But, I mean.
Well, Chase, here's what we appreciate. This is from James Noggle here, Noggle NFL. Since the NFL switched to a 15-plus game season, 47 teams started 10-1 or better. 2 teams ended the year with less than 12 wins. The 86 Jets and the 23 Eagles. The biggest collapse in NFC history. Don't defend Nick Sirianni with his past. He's lost his team and should lose his job. I see no lies there. Nothing wrong with that.
I will offer one rebuttal and one rebuttal alone. If they proceed to go off in the playoffs and just go on a tear and get to the Super, you laugh, but I'm just saying, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl this year, everyone will be like, whew, yeah, that was close. But then again, you're the most realistic sports fan I know. If you're telling me the Eagles are going to choke, there's like a solid 75% chance they're going to choke.
I wouldn't even call it choking at this point. They're going to go down to Tampa. They're going to lose by 30 at least. I said on my story earlier tonight, I hope they lose by 50. I just want to end this in the most painful death possible. This is the worst collapse already in the history. And I would argue, actually, this is worse than the 86 Jets because the 86 Jets, they would have had, 5 games, right? They start 10-1, you got to get 12 wins. They had 5 games to get 2 wins. The Eagles had 6 because now we have a 17-game season. So this, to me, is even worse than that.
Yeah.
And the one game they did win against the Giants on Christmas Day, they barely pulled that out. They should not have won that game.
No, you're right. I don't disagree. I think something tells me there's something more to this going on that we don't know as a public. Like there's a miscommunication somewhere because one team does not simply, especially of the Eagles' caliber.
Well, I think AJ Brown actually was the one that even said it. What was it, last week? I don't even care at this point, to be honest. I'm just so done with these losers, these frauds, as we like to call them. But I think he said something like, stop blaming Nick because he called a play and we ran something completely different. We called an audible. It didn't work. So it's like I guess he's trying to defend the coaching staff, at least publicly. Again, like he knows what's going on behind the scenes here. But it's been a long time. Given the Sixers' history, I had no faith in them even when they were up 2 against Boston. So the Union morale has been terrible. I didn't have a lot of faith in them going into this MLS playoff run. But this is even a level beyond that. I've never had less faith in a Philly sports team at the end of the year, and I don't see any way we go down into. I mean, I was just telling one of my friends about half an hour ago, they could bring Tom Brady back out of retirement and have him playing flip-flops, and they'd still probably lose. I mean, that's the state of this Eagles franchise as it stands here.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, your cap situation is very much in, you guys are penny pinching, if I'm not mistaken, because I know that there was a big thing about signing the defense back, but
I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, I know we lost a couple of guys in free agency. I'm not as up to.
I need that light. Yes, sorry. The joys of sharing a house. My grandmother. My apologies, and she's trying to tell me about the 2 velociraptors. So, but yeah, no, sorry about that. You were saying.
No, it's fine. I was just saying I don't know where we stand in terms of the cap or anything because, like I said, I've kind of been out of it the last few weeks just because it hasn't been fun to watch. But I certainly think this idea that they could just, and I always thought, I always talk to my friends back home, it's hard to get back to a Super Bowl, whether you win or lose, and I think that's what made the Patriots up until the last couple of years their run so remarkable is that they would always get back or get close to getting back to the Super Bowl. And now maybe the Chiefs are kind of following in their footsteps there, although they don't look so hot right now either. So who knows what's going to happen over on the AFC side of things. The point being, it's hard to get back to the Super Bowl after you play football into the middle of February, and especially when you have key guys that you can't bring back in free agency or whatever the case may be. I don't know, maybe drafting the entire Georgia Bulldogs team was a great idea either, but I don't know.
I mean,
this is going to be a crucial offseason, because I don't think, I mean, they've done what I didn't think was possible for the Eagles. I know that the Sixers have done this before, the Flyers have done this before, and I think even in the mid-2010s, the Phillies were bad enough that they'd done this. I didn't think it was possible for the Eagles to lose the city of Philadelphia. I think we're there now. And we're talking about a team that still ended the season with an 11-6 record that goes into the playoffs next week that could still theoretically go on a run and win the Super Bowl. I don't think they will.
And that goes,
but it could theoretically still happen. And yet that's the morale in the city of Philadelphia right now. It is that bad.
And that's what I keep saying. Like, if this roster, because honestly, at this point, coaching staff, they're going to have their programs. They're going to have their plans. They're going to have their playbook. At this point, if you want the city of Philadelphia to get behind you, you have to go into the next playoff game and you got to win by 20. I would even say 25. You have to blow out your opponent, because I think once the Eagles get a blowout win in the playoffs, I think the casual Philly fan will go right back into it. I mean, obviously the diehards are still going to be like, yeah, well, we still suck. But if they're on the same page,
clever. I mean, that's the question.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's possible to save it, but you know me, I'm the giant optimist. And when it comes to sports, I mean, for God's sakes, I'm a Jets fan. Seriously, I've been trying to be optimistic for too many years, and today's the one day it paid off. But besides the point, now I think, again, give it time, and if A.J. Brown is able to play, and the Eagles are actually able to go on a tear for the first game, it's a 50-50 shot. But, I mean, like you said, they have shown nothing to say that is going to happen. Trend, if they follow the trend, they're going to get blown out. Because right now I think they're slated to play Tampa.
Yes. And by the way, they should blow them out, because that's a Tampa Bay team that just clinched their division and therefore their playoff spot today. And they played the Carolina Panthers, the 2-15 Carolina Panthers, and won 9-0. So if you can only score 9 points against the Carolina Panthers, I know they were in Carolina, but
I mean, hey, it's hard to play in front of maybe 500 people. Like, it's not easy. But no,
I just saw the. Let me see. Pull it back up here because I shared it with. Yeah, from WIP here. The Eagles have opened as 1.5 point road favorites in the wild card round on FanDuel. That doesn't. I'd be hesitant to take that.
I mean, I'm not a sports bettor. I never have, and truthfully, I probably never will. But that's basically showing you they have no idea what team's going to show up. None. Because, like I keep saying, like, on paper, this Eagles team should be blowing out everybody. Because there's maybe, hypothetically, I can think of, on one hand, teams that would actually give the Eagles problems. But, I mean, they lost to the freaking Jets. Not just the Jets, a Zach Wilson-led Jets. And I think that I remember you sending me the text, like, it's the beginning of the end. And I laughed because, honestly, I'm like, okay, yeah, they're about to have a stinker. But now they after you're going on this, losing streak, you were right. So,
yeah.
But then again, it's the joy of the playoffs. I mean, what was it? I think it was the Houston Roughnecks, who won the XFL championship. They had a losing record going into the playoffs, and yet somehow they won the championship. So
Don't remind me of spring football right now. The Phillies didn't make the cut; they folded.
yeah, that's.
Can you believe they got rid of Philadelphia's best football team? I mean, it's unbelievable.
And now it's like what, the Premier Football League or something like that, or like
Yeah, we'll see.
something like that. But now I wouldn't press the panic button yet if I'm a Philly fan. But the second half, or once the second half starts, if that game is not a blowout, yeah, time to press the panic button, because that a lot can happen in the playoffs. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, for heaven's sakes, I thought the Eagles were going to absolutely blow out the Chiefs for the Super Bowl. Actually, were you there when? I think we were there, or you were there with us when we watched the Super Bowl at Dante's.
No, I was still in Delaware, but I
Yeah,
went live.
yeah, you're right.
And,
Oh yeah, that's right. Because then
oh,
we went live. Yep. But it was just like a couple plays happened, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, what in the world? So, I mean, that's my 2 cents. Because honestly, I think at this point I'm beating a dead horse.
I just don't understand why they played their starters. And you look at it and you lose three guys, and Hurts. I don't think he's going to be 100% because that finger didn't look very good. I don't know. I mean, I know there was a chance that Dallas would lose today to Washington, and I guess you can't ever trust the Cowboys either. But I mean,
That's a whole podcast, man. That ain't. It's just an Instagram live.
sure, yeah, but I'm just saying, why even play your starters in the first half? Like, I mean, the team clearly was going to be a lost game. Why even take that chance for the slightest possibility? And even then, obviously, you need help with Dallas losing to get the number 2 seed and win the division. You're going to be the 5 seed. Just accept it and don't put any MetLife turf, for crying out loud. Like, this was a 1,000 IQ moment right here, and now AJ Brown could potentially be out for a year. Keeping your fingers crossed, hoping for the best for him. But I don't know, man. It's I always feel like, I mean, coaching a professional sports team you have to have the worst job security of any profession, right? Sirianni's he'll have gone through 3 winning seasons and making the playoffs every time, but I don't think he's going to be safe.
I think that they'd be.
Sam,
Sorry, you're cutting in now for me again. Sorry, go ahead. Finish your point.
Eagles lose in Tampa. I think that it's going to be. I think it's a decision that Laurie has to consider. That may sound harsh. That may sound unfair, but I mean, Brian Johnson should have been gone weeks ago. Matt Patricia should have never been brought in. I mean, whose genius idea was that?
Don't even get me started on Matt Patricia, but no, it's hard because, again, we're not even talking about a bad season in general. We're just talking about a really bad end to the season. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, do you take the risk and say, all right, we're going to keep this guy on and then have him on the hot seat for next season? Or do we just ride it out, see what happens? Or honestly, do you just cut your losses? Because you can't deny that what Sirianni has built is a good franchise. Like he has been able to coach this team to be an elite team. That's a very rare thing today. And honestly, you could see teams like Carolina, and I'm trying to think of other poverty franchises, but teams like Carolina, teams like Chicago, they'd take him in a heartbeat. Because honestly, once he changes the cultures there and actually starts coaching athletes to their best capabilities, he's going to, he's too good of a coach to not have a job. And there are going to be NFL teams that take him in. If not, he's definitely getting a job in college. Or he could take Bill's job. Who knows? I mean,
yeah.
But I have no idea what's going to happen. And a Jets fan, it's just nice to not be at the center of the news for a change with our coaching blunders. So, but I digress.
Well, we'll see. You should have Aaron Rodgers coming back next year, so we'll see if I can breathe some life into your team here. But
I mean,
I don't know.
You think about it. This team went 8-10 or 7-10 with Trevor Siemian, Zach Wilson, and some guy who's not even in the league anymore. And yet somehow they won 7 games. We just need a mediocre quarterback. But yeah. And the Eagles just need everybody to show up and play.
Very much.
But,
all right.
All right.
And real quick, while I got you here, you got any predictions for Michigan Washington tomorrow?
I promise not to bet on my birthday. So I am going to say it is either going to be an incredibly close game that is either determined in the last 5 minutes or in overtime, or it's going to be a blowout for Michigan, and Michigan's going to win, like, very easily.
I can't entirely sleep on Washington, but I'm going to take Michigan, and I don't know. Part of me would like to see Michigan. Part of it, well, whoever it is, the winner of the college football playoff game takes the Eagles' spot in the NFL playoffs because they put up more of a point. Maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but then again, they did look pretty. They have looked pretty pathetic the last several weeks.
I mean, what I kind of want to happen is all right. You take the last place team, and then you take the champion of the Premier League, and basically have relegations in the NFL. Tell me that would not cause chaos in the NFL.
Yeah.
That is something that I would love to see.
Well, American sports would certainly be, yeah. Imagine the Detroit Pistons getting brought down to the G League.
The sad thing is I actually think their record would be pretty similar. I could take your Delaware Bluecoats over the Pistons as of right now.
The Bluecoats just won the championship. Do you think that they give the Detroit Pistons a run for their money right now? Maybe not right now because the rosters change so quickly down there. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice idea in theory. I don't know how well it would work in reality just because, every team's an affiliate of an NBA team and couldn't pack like a lot of these stadiums are so small. The logistics of it wouldn't work out. But it's kind of fun to think about on paper, like what the matchups would look like. But
I mean, could you imagine the Maine Celtics? I mean, they play in a high school gym pretty much, and then you got, freaking. I mean, Delaware's a little bit nicer. It's like a community college gym. It's not like, it's nicer than Gordon's gym. So, but no, I mean, still Delaware Bluecoats, baby. Because honestly, screw the Maine Celtics. They got rid of Eric Demers.
Yeah, all right for himself in Spain right now, isn't he?
Oh yeah, no, he's doing pretty good from what I can tell. So,
yeah. All right, Ben. Thanks again.
No problem, Ben.
Yeah,
always a pleasure.
Yeah. Hopefully, we have a better upcoming week here than the Eagles will.
I mean, I'm winning my fantasy football championship this week because I'm up by 150 points. So
good for you.
No matter what happens, I'm gonna be smiling.
I'll tell you, I quit playing fantasy on Thanksgiving several years back. It was Eagles versus Lions. I had Calvin Johnson on my fantasy team, and he scored 3 touchdowns. I found myself cheering every time he scored, and I don't do it anymore.
It's very conflicting at times because I had to go up against Breece Hall, and I'm just like, I'm glad that you're scoring, but I really need you to stop. But anyways, all right, peace out, Ben.
All right, see you, Chase. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, so that's going to be it. I just wanted to come on here. Normally, I would do this at the end of the season whenever the last game is, like I did after the Super Bowl last year, like I did with the Sixers after they choked against the Celtics. But my faith in this team is I have so little faith right now that I figured I would come on here and do it a week early because, let's be honest, they're probably going to get blown out next weekend in Tampa. So that's your post-mortem on this Eagles season here. The most epic collapse certainly in my lifetime in the history of Philly sports. I think some people are arguing maybe ever. Just something that makes you sit back and wonder what in the world happened to this team that started 10-1. I know a lot of those games were close. I know, people said that a lot of those games could have gone either way, but this team has certainly lost any. Trying to think of the right words here. It's always more difficult when you're doing this live, but any semblance of the Super Bowl making team, the NFC Championship winning team from last year, they just look like an absolute shell of their former selves right now. But then again, crazier things have happened in sports, and they'll be in the playoffs just like 13 other teams with a chance to win the Super Bowl. So maybe this is all going to age like milk, but I don't have terribly high hopes at this point. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Looks like most people have tuned out by now, but that's all right. We got a good-sized audience here throughout the live, it looks like. NYS Road Warrior 89, I love your game show content. Thank you for that. Much more of that coming up later this year in 2024. One of my resolutions, trying to get back into making some more of those videos over there. So stay tuned for all that. Thank you all for tuning into this. I'll probably throw this on my YouTube channel because why not? And certainly save it here for everybody on Instagram if you missed it live. And until next time, we'll talk to you soon. I'd like to do more of these Instagram lives as well because I really enjoy them. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you soon.